Shalom. I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that we well. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom. All right, back over to another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. Lord's will, this video was edifying. Just going to get right into it, man. I want to touch on, these people, what is known as the Boule. All right. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of them before, but, why not bring it out? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. By the way, being a Rastafari is going off, okay? That religion of the Rastafari is going off, man. All right? Selassie is not he's not even an Israelite. He's a Hamite from Ethiopia. Okay, and even him, he said it himself that he is not the Messiah, man. He's just a mortal man. All right. Now let's just say he is an Israelite. He's still not the Messiah. All right, but that I think he's a Hamite, if I'm not mistaken. But nevertheless, point being, what the Boule. All right, says the Black Boule, Black gay Illuminati, in parentheses. It says anywhere there are prominent professional blacks. Chances are, so-called blacks, of course, because we're not black, we're Israelites, according to the Bible. Nevertheless, the world knows us as black, all right? But that's why the Lord said in Isaiah that he was going to destroy the covering cast. We can start with that. Why not bring that out for edification's sake? All right, this is Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right, because Esau has covering cast over all the nations of people, man. All right, the people are not being called what they originally were back in the ancient world and what they were known as in the Bible. All right, but you have a few countries or locations that are still named like it was in the scriptures, but the majority of them are not. All right. Anyways, it says, I'm reading it again. It says, anywhere there are prominent professional blacks, chances are they're in the Boule, set up to keep blacks, so-called, from segregating and improving themselves. Okay, now that's why I titled the lesson, Their Own Shepherds Pity Them Not. Okay, because you have men within Israel who are Israelites, but yet they're set up to basically help Esau with the downfall of Jacob. Okay, now let's read the article. It says in 1904, the first American Greek Society was formed in Philadelphia. Notice how it says what? First American Greek Society was formed in Philadelphia. Well, you had our people back during the time of the book of the Maccabees who, under the Greek persecution in the Greek Empire, you had our people who sold out, man, and they wanted to follow after the ways of the heathen, man. All right. So, hey, the things written aforetime are written for our learning, man. So chances are these dudes are the same men coming back in the reincarnation. All right. But, Lord willing, we get into that a little bit later in the lesson. All right. But if you want to, skip to it, you can just go to First Maccabees, the first chapter. All right. It says in 1904, the first American Greek Society, secret society, was formed in Philadelphia by Dr. Henry Minton and his 5 colleagues. And isn't it funny how Philadelphia is supposed to mean, the city of brotherly love? But here it is. You have Jakes going against. You have Jakes set up against other Jakes, man. Okay, and guess what? LeBron James, all right, has this same Boule seal tattoo on his chest, man. All right, let's look that up real quick, man. James chest tat. Boule. Let's look that up real quick. Which goes to show you that these niggas all sold out, man. All right. Here it is. You have LeBron James with the Boule tattoo on his chest, man. Coincidence? I don't think so. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's keep moving. It says the Boule, an acronym for Psi, for Sigma Pi Phi, and pronounced Boule, was formed to bring together a select group of educated black men and women fashioned after Yale's Skull and Bones. Okay, so here it is. You have Jake trying to be like Esau. Okay, you have Jake, and what the scriptures say: "Envy not thou oppressor, envy not thine oppressor," man. Or what's that in the book of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter? Let's get that real quick. Or envy, or follow not the ways of the heathen. You know, that's what I was quoting, or that's what I meant to quote. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the ways of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Okay, so here it is. Our people are wanting to learn the ways of the heathen, because it says how Jake fashioned the Boule after Yale's Skull and Bones, man. Okay, which is another secret society, all right, of Esau, man. And you have a lot of prominent members within the society, you know, nobles, quote unquote, within the society that are in the Skull and Bones, like George Bush and his forefathers, man. All right, it's open. It's a well-known fact that George Bush is part of the Skull and Bones. You know, also a part of other men that are like, you know, senators, governors, so on and so forth, man. All right, this is Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 26. It says, "The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them." Okay, so the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, meaning Jake is more excellent than these other nations. All right, by nature, because we're the Lord's people. But it says what? The way of the wicked seduceth them. So Jake wants to follow after their oppressors, man. Like it tells you in Proverbs chapter 3 and 31, the Wadi Hal Shai, Proverbs 3 and 31, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." Okay, so that's the point, man. But here it is. You have Jake envying their oppressors, man. All right. Let me see something real quick. Salakia, bear with me. All right. Right. Let me get this real quick, because this is bouncing off the point about how the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. This is Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 13. It says, "Thou art of pure eyes to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that is more righteous than he?" And that's Esau destroying Jake. All right, Jake by nature is more righteous than Esau. Esau is known as the wicked. You know, but now you do have some wicked ass Jakes that what? The Lord said what? "The deeds of my people have surpassed the deeds of the wicked." That's in the book of Jeremiah. Going to show you that the wicked are an actual people in the scriptures. Okay, now let's go ahead and keep reading. It says, "The Boule historically takes pride in having provided leadership and service to Black Americans, so-called, during the Great Depression, World Wars I and II, and the Civil Rights Movement. What could the Boule offer America's blacks in the early 20th century, so-called blacks? Joining the exclusive secret society offered advancement and perks to select so-called blacks in return for loyalty to its objectives." All right, so basically saying they're going to give you perks if you are loyal to our cause, you know, if you sell out. All right. Okay, and guess what? More than likely, I'm just speaking as a man, them same scribes and Pharisees that try to set up against Yahushua, hey, they're a part of the Boule today. You know, you never know. They could be them coming back in the reincarnation. All right, because what were they saying? They said, we have no king but Caesar, meaning that Esau is their king, man. All right, and here it is. You have these Jakes trying to be like Esau, setting up their own quote unquote secret society, man. Wicked as hell. All right, but anyways, it says the upper tenth of so-called blacks started to live the good life as Boule members, while the majority of ordinary so-called blacks were disenfranchised. But what were the Boule's objectives? The Boule recruits top so-called blacks in American society into its ranks. It says today, 5,000 plus Archons, male Boule members, and their wives, Archaeosize, if I pronounced that right, or Archaeosize, if I pronounced it right, and their wives. So I guess that's the female version of a Boule member. It says with 112 chapters, make up the wealthiest group of black men, so-called, and women on the planet. Archon means demon. Okay, the kind that like to keep hidden. All right, and that's exactly what Esau likes to do, man. Like scripture say, deliver me from the or hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. All right, that's your so-called Illuminati, man. All right, and you're a wicked elites, man. But here it is, Jake is trying to be just like them, man. What they call the boule. It says, but to who does the boule really serve? They satanic, mostly white global elite. There you go, man. That's the spirit. As long as the black member conforms to the rules, so-called black, the riches will be in abundance. If not, down comes the hatchet. Blackmail is part of the deal. All right. It says this Masonic secret society has a pyramid style like all the rest. The lower ranks are kept from knowing what the upper ranks are doing. The early 20th century was a period of reconstruction. All right. So here it is. This is their ranking, quote unquote. It says Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa movement was in full swing. Garvey represented genuine black leadership, so-called black leadership. Right. Now he might have been genuine, but either way, this was not the way, man. But this goes into Ezekiel 37 where it says what? It says they had the bones came together, but they didn't have the breath in them, man, because they were waking up to the fact that they're being oppressed, so on and so forth, but they didn't have the breath, meaning they didn't have the knowledge of Yahweh Shemal Shah. Like it tells you in Wisdom of Solomon 7:25 that wisdom is the Lord's breath, she is the breath of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And then in John, I believe that's John 20th chapter, where it says how Yahweh Shai breathed unto them the Holy Spirit, So the breath represents the Holy Spirit. That's in John 20 and 22. All right. It says, W.E. Du Bois, founding member of the NUIC chapter of the Boule, said the Boule was created to keep the so-called black professional away from Marcus Garvey. Here it is, man, and it is the point of basically, what I'm saying? They're trying to keep Drake blinded, pretty much. They wanted to keep Jake blinded, man, because they worked for the wicked elites of Esau. All right. But really, even if they were to follow after Marcus Garvey, Jake would have still been blind. Because why? Marcus Garvey was not pushing the truth to Yahweh Shemal Shah. All right. Because if he was, then he wouldn't be in a Back to Africa campaign. Because little do you know, or not trying to sound prideful, but Africa is not the motherland. Like it tells you in the book of Galatians, it tells you what? Jerusalem is the motherland. All right. The land of Israel, man, which is inhabited by them same wicked devils, man. It says the Boule was created to keep the black professional away from Marcus Garvey. So it says the remaking of the House Negro was necessary to institute a group of so-called blacks who had a vested interest in protecting the elite white system. One thing that needs to be pointed out is the time period. Okay, so like it says, the remaking of a House Negro, man. All right. Just like that movie Django, where you had Samuel L. Jackson. He is like, who's that nigga on that name? And then come to find out he snitched on Django's woman, and basically got Django in a shootout, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, either way, it's a movie, whatever. But I was just, relating to the point. It says, shortly after the founding of the Boule was also a time of Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa movement was reaching 1 million plus people without television or radio. Du Bois emphasized as Coakley stated, the importance to steal the so-called black professional away from Garvey because of Afrocentric organization that articulated and captured the black professional would give YT no safe haven in the so-called black community. It says, so the Boule, the remaking of the House Negro, was necessary to build a group of Negroes who had investment in protecting the white system, so-called white, produced by so-called whites having stolen this land. So yeah, they definitely stole this land, man. All right, America was built off of bloodshed and iniquity, according to Habakkuk 2:12. It says this post. Oh, and also in Micah, the second chapter, it says what? They covet fields and take them by violence, man. They oppress a man and his heritage. So here it is. The Boule was set up to oppress Israel. But it was all the will of the Lord, It says this is post-Reconstruction, taking away the articulate Negro, now designed to replace them with organized institutions to keep them away from self-improvement. So we find in the same period as the founding of the Boule, founding of the four so-called black Alpha Pi Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, Omega Psi Phi, and Phi Beta Sigma, and four so-called black female Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, and Sigma Gamma Rho. if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But here it is. You still have Jake to this very day, being in fraternities and stuff like that, man. But all that stuff is wicked, man. And they do wicked shit in them fraternities, man. All right, they be doing idolatry and stuff like that in them fraternities, man. You know, it says I've never been in a fraternity myself, but I've heard from people that have founding of the NAACP and Urban League. It says Du Bois was one of the strongest opponents of Garvey and was an instrumental, quote unquote, tool in stopping one of the strongest grassroots movements in this century. What was Garvey's plan? His plan was to take as many Africans from the Americas and start a settlement in the nation of Liberia, and then help their new nation produce and control their own rubber crops and other industries and natural resources. All right, now I have something to speak about that as well, because that's still going off. Because why? I'm gonna go and get this real quick. So the Lord ultimately set up the Boule. However, doesn't mean that they're not wicked. All right, because the Most High set up Esau too. You know what I'm saying? Does that mean that Esau is righteous? No. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way, whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So here we are, we're in Egypt spiritually, which is America. And how do we get here? By way of our cargo slave ships, man. And the Yapah brother Baar brought it out. He made a beautiful point. He said, hey, and this is how you know that it's not talking about literal Egypt, because in order for us to get to Egypt, all we had to do was walk there, okay? Because when you read the story about Yahushua, it said what? Yahushua and Joseph took Mary and Yahushua and they fled into Egypt. They walked into Egypt, man, okay? Anyways, it says, thou shalt see it no more again, talking about our homeland, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies. Here in America, we're sold unto our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem us, okay? And that's what it is. Marcus Garvey was not the man to redeem us. The man to redeem us is Yahushua. Yahushua is going to be the one to redeem us. All right? And there's plenty of scriptures on that. All right, Yahushua is going to be the one to redeem us. So that's why that work came to naught, because it was of men. It wasn't of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. Let me get that real quick. You know, this is Acts chapter 5, starting at verse 38. It says, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or if this work be of men, it will come to naught. And that's exactly why Marcus Garvey's plans came to naught. Now here it is. It says, Garvey said, if the oil of Africa is good for Rockefeller's interest, if iron is good for the Carnegie's interest or trust, then these minerals are good for us. Why should we allow Wall Street and the capitalist group of America and other countries exploit our country when they refuse to give us a fair chance in the countries of our adoption? Why should not Africa give to the world its black Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and Henry Ford? All right. Now, Marcus Garvey going off because he was being carnal, man. He wasn't trusting the Lord. He was trying to set up his own nation, but that's why it came to naught, man. All right. So Marcus Garvey, you're not exempt from the rebuke neither, man. All right. You weren't in the spirit neither, man. All right. Because if you were in the spirit, then you would have been trying to set up a campaign to bring the children of Israel back to the Heavenly Father. It should have been the Back to Yahweh B'Shem El Shai movement, not back to Africa. All right. Which that's not even our homeland. Nevertheless, let's keep reading. Du Bois, along with Alan Locke, the first so-called black Cecil Rhodes scholar, publicly defiled Garvey by calling him a gorilla any chance they got. Locke was quoted as saying, we hope the white man delivers because we crushed a great black thing, but we know he'll deliver or our people will attack and plague us forevermore. These two house Negroes made a bet that whites would come out on top and gave certain percentage of these greedy Negroes, namely Boule members, the wealth they stole from Africa. What's deep is they didn't believe in Africa's self-reliance and preferred to have whites give them table scraps instead of us making the whole pie, right? Like they said, modern day house Negro, but it is what it is, man. All right. We had to be under Esau for the time being, man. The Lord tells us in Revelation, the 12th chapter, that we will be nourished up by the serpent for a time, meaning that Esau had to take care of us, like the Lord said in Deuteronomy 28, we shall go to our enemies in want of all things for hunger, thirst, and nakedness, and also in Isaiah, the 10th chapter, I'll get it, Lord willing. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20 says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Right, so we're not going to stay upon Esau that smote us, you know, meaning that we're not going to rely upon Esau anymore, you know, to quote unquote hook us up. But they shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. Okay. Understand the Boule represents the weakest element of African people, as Coakley puts it. It took a type of nigger to form an organization like this. I mean, we just got our ass kicked during a reconstruction. Africa was divided before our very eyes. The Berlin Conference, damn, this was 50 years before Rosa Parks. All right. It says the Phi Beta Kappa Society. It says the question is, why were these black devils like this? The answer may lie in the fact that the Boule is a Greek organization. It was about selling out our brothers and sisters for power and money. All right. Now, just like I said, during the time of the Maccabees, you had sellout Jakes, man. Okay. Even to this very day, you have sellout Jakes because the Boule still exists to this very day, man. All right. So guess what? Them same Boule members, just like how they try to stop the Marcus Garvey movement, guess what? You got them same Boule members trying to stop the Israelite movement, but it's not a movement. All right. It's the will of the Lord. And that's why in the next verse of the book of Acts, it says, what? If this work be of, it says, but if it be of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, ye cannot overthrow it. So that's why they cannot overthrow this, man. And the Lord Yahweh Shai said in Matthew, the 16th chapter, that the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church, man. All right. So these dark forces, these principalities and wickedness and rulers in high places will not prevail against the will and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Even if you put his men to death, guess what? You still not going to be in power, Esau. You still going down, Esau, and all your little Boule members with you, man. All right? But the thing about you Boule, wicked-ass 2/3 Jakes, you're going to have your head down in the kingdom, and you're going to be ashamed. But the Lord going to have mercy on you, but you're going to die on this side, man. All right? Anyways, you know, lest you repent. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, I don't really see that happening, but that's not up to me. It's up to the Lord. Anyways. It was about selling out our brothers and sisters for power and money. The majority of black lawyers, doctors, and engineers and accountants were members of this secret club. The Boule is another arm of nefarious secret societies that recruit, indoctrinate, and cull for the dark forces. Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Let me get it real quick. Spirit want me to get it. All right. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10, it says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Yeah, this isn't a carnal war. We're in a spiritual war. But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? So that's what this battle is all about, man. It says, therein are perks galore, power and notoriety, all lying in wait for the easily compromised soul. Right, Mark 8:36, what shall a profit man he gain the whole world and lose his soul? It says in the Greek system, the Boule was the lower house of the parliament, charged with, and parliament means a gathering of owls. All right. In Britain, they have their government called what? Parliament. You know, Elder Apostle Gabar brought that out through the Spirit. It says charged with organizing the affairs of the city for the king. Let that sink in. This is an ancient story. The New World Order is the old world order. The elite so-called blacks of the Boule are culling and controlling their own for a slice of the elite white man's pie. Right. You know, so these jakes, they're pretty much settling for a crumb, man. And Esau is a damn devil. So here it is. You do what Esau asks of you to do, and Esau will be the same one to turn on you right when you finish the job. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. That's in the book of Sirach. All right. That's why the scriptures say what? Never trust thine enemy. You know. And same thing now, like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, they that consent unto them shall be trodden down and hadden in derision, man. All right, and like it says in Isaiah 65, you are them which set up that table for that troop, you know. Sell out Jakes, man. All right, it says Sirach 12, starting at verse 10, it says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him." Right. Oh, yeah, you get a piece of the pie. You know, knowing damn well Esau's over you. You over here want to get a piece of the pie, man. You niggas are through, man. All right, you disgust me, man. All right, but you know what? Yahweh Shema Shai set you niggas up, so I'm going to stay spiritual about it. It says, "And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that the rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked wherewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any as such come nigh wild beast?" Right. So who's going to pity you niggas when Esau turns his back on you, man? All right. It says, "So that one goeth to a sinner is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity." Verse 15, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Right. So once Esau's agenda is set up, once he starts seeing you falling, guess what? He's not going to tarry, meaning he's going to take the opportunity and turn his back on you niggas, man. Verse 16, "Your enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee," right? Oh, yeah, you're going to get a piece of the pie. "Yet shall he undermine thee," meaning he's going to supplant you. He's going to trick you. All right, that's the point. It says the takeaway, folks, is that black society is modeled on white. Most political, so-called, most political, business, and culture leaders are chosen on the basis on their membership in a satanic secret society. We all have been portrayed in the most arrogant fashion. All right, let me see if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Baba Shah, bear with me. Let me look up that word real quick. Salakia.
Egregious.
Egregious. Salakia. Egregious. It says outstandingly bad, shocking, remark, or yeah. It says remarkably good. It says egregious, derived from the Latin word egregious, meaning distinguished or eminent. All right. So I guess it just means like something in a great way. All right, let me look at the etymology of the word egregious. There's power within looking up words, you know. Etymology of the word egregious. It says egregious, distinguished, eminent, excellent. Let me screen share this. Might as well. Might as well. It says egregious adjective, distinguished, eminent, excellent, from Latin egregious, distinguished, excellent, extraordinary. From the phase of exgergi, from where it says rising above the flock. Ooh, that's spiritual, because the flock is known as what? The children of Israel. But here it is, you have these wicked ass niggas who sold out to rise above the flock, you know? Going back to what? Their own shepherds pity them not. That's all spiritual. From X out of Engrege, ablative of Grex, a herd flock. That's spiritual, bro. That's hella spiritual. All right. Says disapproving sense now predominant, arose late 16th century, originally ironic. It is not in the Latin word, which etymologically means simply exceptional. All right, that's the point. Man. All right, so basically it goes back to the word of what? Rising out of the flock, which is very spiritual, that it means that, you know, due to the topic that we are talking about. All right, their own shepherds pity them not, man, meaning that the shepherds are above the sheep, right? So it goes to show you that word is very spiritual. All right, it says the numbers of secret society members with their satanic false idols touching all aspects of the daily lives of so-called black folk, including children, is absolutely mind-blowing, staggering, and continues to grow. It is estimated that 70 to 75% of all black male lawyers are members of the secret society Sigma Pi Phi. Virtually every black mayor, congressman, banker, or millionaire in America are members of the secret society, the Boule. Right. Here it is. You have Oprah Winfrey. I don't know this nigga. All right. But it says researcher Steve Coakley, 1952 through 2012, is ultimate source of information on the Boule. His persistent theme in the Jewish financial elite have put a phony black leadership class in a position of influence and wealth. Their role is to protect their sponsors and to perpetuate their hegemony. Genuine leaders like MLK and Malcolm X who forget their place are eliminated. Ironically, when Steve was hospitalized in 2012, he expressed fears that they would kill him in the hospital. This appears to have taken place. He was married and had 3 children. Right, because he was exposing them. Same way how they want to kill the men of the Lord. Because why? We're exposing these devils, man. All right, and some of the men of the Lord will be put to death, you know. But that's the will of the Lord, man. The Lord says some will die for the witness of Yahushua. That's the way the Most High has it set up, man. All right, but if, hey, in the times we're coming into it, if you get put to death, that's really a mercy kill of the Heavenly Father, man. Because we're coming into the times of Jacob's trouble. All right, every post-apocalypto movie that you can think of, man, combine it all into one. There you go. You got Jacob's trouble, man. Scripture says it's going to be a time of trouble has not ever been on the earth before, man. All right, death is going to really going to see America as really the land, the valley of shadow of death, man. Because death is going to fall around like a shadow, man. All right. It's really going to be a time of great tribulation and trouble. It says the late conspiracy theorist and futurologist Steve Coakley had to say this: anywhere there are prominent professional so-called blacks, chances are they're in the Boule. Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson are reported to have been Boule members, among many other high-profile, successful, and moneyed blacks, such as Barack Obama, which he's a Hamite, Bill Cosby, which his ass is in jail, Al Sharpton, sold out for George Soros, and Thurgood Marshall. It says the members of the Boule pose as freedom fighters or civil rights activists on the surface, meaning that they try to play the good guy, right? In truth, the elite members are operating for personal gain, right? But really, like, ooh-wee. Let me get that real quick. Wow. Haven't heard this scripture in a while. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15, it says, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Right on point. So on the surface, they seem like good guys, sheep clothing, but inwardly they're ravening wolves, just like Esau. Like it tells you in Revelation, the 13th chapter and 11th verse, is that what? He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, you know? So these devils, at first, they try to act all, you know, nice, doing it the right way. God bless America, so on and so forth. But really, they're going to speak as a dragon and push these draconian legislations and measures, man. Oh, you can't come in this business without a mask on, you know, 6 feet social distancing, you know. But now it's going to get even worse, and they're going to be like, what? Oh, you can't come in this business unless you have the chip. You know, you can't buy or sell unless you have the chip, which is the mark of the beast. All right, it says, in truth, the elite members are operating for personal gain. The Boule works in concert with their masters in maintaining the grip of Illuminati supremacy on their people. The Boule is another arm of the nefarious secret societies that recruit, indoctrinate, and cull for the dark forces. Therein are perks galore, power and notoriety, all lying in wait for the easily compromised soul. What shall a man gain? He gain the whole. What shall it be? A man gain the whole world and lose his own soul, man. You know. Because don't forget, man, Satan can bless you too, man. All right. Satan trying to give out Yahushua all the kings of the world. But what was he supposed to do? Bow down and serve Satan, man. But Yahushua was like, get thee hence, Satan. You know, we're only supposed to worship the Heavenly Father, you know. But in our case, we are supposed to only worship Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, because the scriptures say, he that honoreth not the Son honoreth not the Father, you know. In many ways, it says in the Greek system, the Boule was the lower house of Parliament, charged with organizing the affairs of the city for the king. Let that sink in. This is an ancient story. The New World Order is the Old World Order. All right, right, because the New World Order really goes back to the time of the Tower of Babel. That was the first time they tried to set up a New World Order. Then you had what? Right back to the time of the Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 1, I believe that's verse 41, where you had Antiochus Epiphanes. He set up the decree for what? For all the Israelites for every nation under his kingdom to do what? To follow after the ways of the heathen, so on and so forth, and to agree to the customs of the king, man. And guess what? You had Jakes that willingly consented to that stuff, man. Just like how you have the Boule now. So chances are, just like you had them Jakes willingly trying to go get license of the king to follow after the ways of the heathen, they're them same Jakes coming back now in the Boule, man. You know, in the reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? Speaking as a man. It says the elite blacks of the Boule are culling and controlling their own for a slice of the elite man's white pie, so-called white man. All right, because they're really red, and they're known as the Edomites according to the Bible. And Edom means red. All right, and that's what you devils are. You devils are red. You're not white. There's nothing pure, righteous, or innocent about you devils, man. All right. But you know what? I think it's safe to say to call these niggas black, man. All right, because black has to do with wickedness, void of light. You know, but nevertheless, I'm not gonna say black because we're not black. We're so-called black, but we're really Israelites. Nevertheless, it says, like other secret societies, the Boule encourages homosexual triasts as initiation practices. Right, and homosexuality is going off, man, and that's another reason why the Lord is going to destroy Babylon, because they fall after the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah. Like it says in the book of Peter, that the Lord rained down fire and brimstone upon Sodom and Gomorrah as an example to them that after should live ungodly, man. All right, roughly paraphrasing. It says this must be done to join the ranks. Bobby Hemmett says any kind of top-notch Negro gets together and they F each other. It's ridiculous, man. This is why the Lord needs to destroy this place, man. But we're coming into them times. It says these perversions are then cataloged and stored on record. Later, if needed, these abuses may be used as bargaining tools in the ultimate game. What is the ultimate game? Capturing human souls. The enemy may appear to have a white face, but it goes much deeper than that. Right. You know? You got these jakes that what? They're the enemy within. All right. Now this nigga, he's a Hamite, man. All right. He's not an Israelite. All right. Michelle Obama, potentially she could have been a Jake, but Obama is a Hamite. He had no salt, man. This nigga had no salt. Anyways, it says these two house Negroes made a bet that whites would come out on top and give certain percentage of these greedy Negroes, namely the Boule members, the wealth they stole from Africa was deep as they didn't believe in the Africa self-reliance, preferred to have whites give them table scraps instead of us making the whole pie. It says the question is, why were these black devils like this? The answer may lie in the fact that the Boule is a Greek organization. In other words, in order to stop the puppet, you must stop the puppeteer. All right. There's also Boule membership book with some very interesting names out on the list. There are members such as Dr. Daniel Hay Williams, performed first open heart surgery; Ralph Bunch, former of UN ambassador; Arth Ashe, Slovakia if I pronounce it wrong, Urban League president; Whitney Young, Martin Luther King, Benjamin Mays, Carter G. Woodson, John H. Johnson, Maynard Jackson, ex-mayor of Atlanta, all who died never speaking of the Boule and therefore taking the secrets of white supremacy with them. Baseball great Hank Aaron, Tom Bradley, TV personality, Dennis Archer or Arcor, mayor of Detroit, Elvin Big E. Hayes, Bill Cosby, Jesse Jackson, Earl Graves, Douglas Wilder, ex-Steeler, Lynn Swan, and David Dinkins, ex-mayor of New York City, to name a few. Most Boule members are of this quote-unquote successful group. As Coakley puts it, yes, the Boule is in your town. Anywhere there are prominent professional blacks, chances are they're in the Boule, so-called blacks. Brother Coakley is the God that should be given big ups to. But you see this as a capital G, man. That's through. All right, now if Coakley is a Jake, he is technically a God. But nevertheless, man, they should really be giving big ups to Yahweh Bashemel Shai. That's the only one that should be worshipped, man. All right, let me get that real quick. Yahweh Bashemel Shai is the only people or deities or beings that are to be worshipped, man. Nothing else. This is Matthew chapter 4, start at verse 8. Again, the devil taketh them up into the exceeding high mountain and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. So Satan wanted Yahushua to sell out. Verse 10, then saith Yahushua unto him, get thee thence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. All right. It says, his tireless dedication and research has allowed the masses of African people to know the truth, which the Boule has pledged to never let you know. No, but who is the one who brought this to light, man? All right, yeah, Coakley may have done research or whatever, but who's the one who put the spirit on him to do it? Yahweh Bashemel Shai. Okay, the Lord is the one who put the spirit on him to do it, to go and do this research. All right, same way how the Lord is putting the Spirit on me right now to do this lesson. All right, this is not of ourselves, man. Okay, let me get a scripture real quick. Go to the book Philippians. Philippians chapter 2 and starting at verse 13, it says, "For it is Yahweh Bashim Shai which worketh in you both to will and to do his good pleasure." Okay, so it's the Lord doing this, man. It's the Lord putting the Spirit on Esau to try to set up his new world order. Okay, everyone that's doing what they're supposed to be doing is because the Lord is making them do it, man. All right. The scriptures say all things obey his will. That's in Sirach 18 and 3. We have to roster up to 1994, which includes 101 chapters. It is now 1998. We haven't yet gotten the last roster, but I'm sure there are quite a few more. Next piece, we will elaborate on the symbolism behind their logo, their colors, their origin of their college fraternities and sororities, and their close relation to demonic masonry. Continue to seek knowledge, and we shall find. My next incision will go a level deeper. I'll perform open heart surgery and split it open on the aorta, which is basically an area in your heart. Of these so-called Black Greeks, I will define the meaning of the Boulet's logo, the Sphinx, their colors, and more of their connection with Masonry. Let's start with their logo. Most will say it's a Sphinx, true but not truth. Most will associate the Sphinx with the tail, solid black. Statue of our ancestors built in ancient KMT in Africa because we have been conditioned to accept without question. We never thought of looking up what the word Sphinx means. Look in any dictionary and it will tell you that Sphinx is a third part woman, 1/3 eagle and 1/3 lion. And notice the breasts and wings. So when I think of the tall statues in KMT, does it look like a woman? Where are the breasts? But what about the wings? The original African name is the Aket or Aket. It says, which means Huru of the horizon and has the face of the builder, Khafre. When we look up the definition of Sphinx, it means to strangle, guard, gatekeeper, or protect. This has nothing to do with Kemet or African people. The Sphinx is a Grecian myth and is a major part of Masonry. According to the Greeks, this beast was a guardian of the city of Thebes. She sat on a cliff on the only path leading to the city. Anyone that wanted to enter Thebes had to first confront the Sphinx. The Sphinx would ask one simple riddle, and if you didn't know the answer, she would devour you, tearing you to pieces. Sound like a nigga woman. No, I'm just kidding. All right, it says the King Creon was upset that many people were unable to enter. Which this is all going off, man. All right, this is all that Greek mythology and stuff like that. This is all wicked, man. All right, it says the King Creon and witchcraft, you know. It says the King Creon was upset that many people were unable to enter his city. He consulted a homosexual named Opdius. Note, homosexuality was a norm of the Grecian culture. Yep, it was. You know, that's why they did a lot of wicked shit, like when they built their gymnasiums, man. All right, and what they do, they exercise butt ass naked, man. Other men wrestling on each other, butt ass naked, you know, willingly. All right, a bunch of homo stuff, man. All right, which is going off, man. All right, and chances are each one of these dudes did some gay shit to get to the point where they're at. All right, these are all prominent so-called black men. Will Smith, all right, it's well known that this nigga is gay. Michael B. Jordan, you know, I don't know. I'm sure he did some gay shit because he had a lot of big movies, but, you know, it's a little bit more low key for him as far as I know. You know, Tyrese, Chris Rock, so on and so forth. Whatever, man, all right? Doesn't even matter. If they're not of the elect, then they don't matter, man, all right? Like it says in Wisdom Solomon 9 and 6. You know, unless a man, if a man could be perfect among the children of men, you know, they could be, you know, well and perfect among the children of men. Oh yeah, he's quote unquote successful, da 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 da. But if the Lord's wisdom is not with him, he shall be nothing regarded, man. All right, so this is the seal. This is the wicked seal of the Boule. All right, it's kind of like what the nigga LeBron had on his chest, man. So the king offered his crown and his daughters if he could kill the Sphinx. So he bounced to where she was, and she asked him the riddle, what has one voice and goes on 4 feet and on 2 feet and on 3, but the more feet it goes on, the weaker it be. Oedipus or Oedipus, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it says, man responded, man who crawls on all fours as a baby, then walks on 2 as an adult, and walks with a cane in old age. After answering the riddle correctly, the Sphinx committed suicide by jumping off the cliff, and Oedipus was claimed king of Thebes for outsmarting the beast. All right, this is, they could never understand what her Aket means. The statue faced the east because our ancestors knew the pineal gland is the seat of the African soul. And when the sun arises in the east, it hits the forehead pineal gland, suppressing the beauty of nature of man, as author Tony Browder puts in. Right, and your pineal gland is what your spirit holds, But if your pineal gland is not intact, if not in tune with the spirit of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, then you're through, man. All right. No matter how hard you try to decalcify it, if you're not in tune with the spirit of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, it's all in vain. All right, and here it is, like Scripture say, the righteous Israel, the righteous. Okay, these 4 so-called Negroes, they're more excellent than their neighbor Esau. It says, but the way of the wicked, so seduceth them. As you can see, Jake doing them masonry hand symbols, man. There's plenty of masonry hand symbols and gestures, Anyways, symbolically, the body represents the animal nature which exists in the woman, and this is all fucking I don't really want to read this, to be honest, but you know what I'm saying, there's a lot more that you can really go on, and it kind of goes in depth to it, you know what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to read through it, because why not, and I'll put the link in the post-production, Laura will. But anyways, it says, symbolically, the body represents the animal nature which exists in a woman, and the lion exemplifies the royalty and power of the divine spirit that exists in lower physical form. The head of a man symbolizes the intelligence of the mind, which must be cultivated in order to elevate the consciousness into a higher spiritual state so that it may become divine. Metaphorically speaking, it is the suppression of the lower animal nature and the refinement of the thought process that leads to spiritual evolution of a man. Spiritually speaking, is the only conquering beast within that is capable of truly knowing the Most High, which is true, but not true at the same time, because the animals are in order, but the Most High has given man order, his laws, statutes, and commandments, so on and so forth. So in a way it's true, and in a way it's not true. Anyways, part 2, it says, understand that all black leaders white America gave us actually had an allegiance with white supremacy. If you think about it, back in the early 1900s, we weren't even 40 years out of slavery. So the house Negro, field African mentality was still in existence. Most Africans at that time had gone through much self-denial. The old cliche, if you black, get back. If you brown, stick around. If you yellow, you're mellow. And if you white, you I or right. It was rampant, and most of our ancestors lost themselves through bleaching their skin, conking their hair, and speaking civilized in order to be seen different than a field nigga. Here it is. You have a Jake trying to be like the wicked. All right. It says we must also realize that of our co-founders, which really they had Jake bleaching their skin, but really if they, understood the scriptures, they would know that the Lord looked like them, and not like Esau. The Lord looked like the complete exact opposite of Esau. It says what? We must also, and I wanted to say this real quick too, is that what that look that Esau has is really the look of wickedness, man. All right, to have leprosy is to be unclean, man. Leprosy is really a curse, man. And Esau is a clean leper. So these devils have been cursed, man. And that was that mark the Lord put on Cain, and his seed. It says we must also realize that most of our core founders, our black organizations, were mulattoes, very light skinned. These house Negroes had already felt they were better than dark-skinned blacks and went out of their way to prove to whites they were different because we were now free, quote unquote. Whites still need to keep an eye on us. They need an overseer. This is why around the same time as the founding of the Boule, we find the founding of the NAACP and the Urban League. These so-called black organizations were confounded by Jewish spies, so-called Jewish, who used Du Bois as their scapegoat. All right, this is Henry McKee Minton, born 1871, died 1946, founder of the Black Boule, so-called black. All right, wicked ass nigga. Yo, this nigga look like a Jake version of Jacob Rothschild. No lie. Hold up, let me look that up real quick, man. Tell me not, this nigga don't look like a Jake version of Jacob Rothschild. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna look it up, but y'all look it up if you want to. If the spirit's on you. This nigga look like a Jake version of Jacob Rothschild. That's hilarious. All right, it says one must also note that NA was not really funny, but y'all get the point. It says one must also note that NAACP co-founder Joel Spingarn, a known beast who spied on the African community, was also very influential in the founding of the Boule. A lot of us don't know that a lot of these organizations were really a front. They were supposed to defend the countless atrocities against so-called black people. On the contrary, we find out the very whites we were complaining about actually helped found these organizations. This makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, kind of like today, how you people have what? Black Lives Matter. But guess what? You have a so-called Jew, George Soros, which is really of the tribe of Amalek, who is an Edomite. All right. He is founding the Black Lives Matter movement and the Hands Up Don't Shoot, you know, and he paid off Al Sharpton. All right. He says, I see why the NAACP doesn't even own the building national headquarters is located at. Think about it. With all the loot the NAACP gets annually and they still have to pay rent for their building, that's because they have to answer to someone, whites in parentheses, who is their major fundraiser. While we were being lynched, raped, and murdered by whites, we thought these organizations would help us fight for justice. Right, but really, you're not going to find justice from them, man. Justice comes from the Heavenly Father, man. All right, matter of fact, let me get this real quick. All right, because the Lord is the one who's going to bring justice. This is Ecclesiastes 5 and 8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice and in province, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. Okay, so the Lord is going to be the one who regards the justice. Says, who is their major fundraiser? While we were being lynched, raped, and murdered by whites, we thought these organizations would help us fight for justice. The latter, to find out the person our leaders answer to, is the very one with blood on his hands. Can you see why we are in the shape we're in today, Africans? Well, we're not Africans, man. All right. We're in the shape we're in today is because why? Let me get this real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee this day. That's why we're in this shape. Verse 46. And guess what? Believe it or not, the word African, how you call us blacks and Africans, that's a part of the curses. Because the Lord said what? We will be a proverb and a byword amongst the nations, man. All right. And that we would what? We would discontinue from our heritage, man. Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. Okay. This is really what Esau was trying to hide us from, man. Our true identity, you know. It says it is very evident in the words of Coakley. When we look at the Boule closely, we find a confusion of values. So-called black men who felt that their advancement was edged upon a positive relationship with wealthy and influential so-called white people, and I say that they may have an adverse impact on our revolution. As stated before, Boule advises to the king, and we clarified last piece that the king is the Rockefeller Foundation. If we were to bring some numerology into this, the Sphinx number is 9. The riddle of the Sphinx is what walks on 4, 2, then 3. That equals 9. 4 symbolizes the ignorant man, baby. 2, the intellectual young adult. And 3, the spiritual old man with cane, which means wisdom. All right. Well, wisdom is really the number 1. But anyways, I believe understanding is what represents the number 3. Anyways. It says the Masonic definition of the number 9 is the natural number of a man in the lower worlds or evil. But really the number of a man is 666, okay? But a 6 flipped around as a 9. Anyways, looking at the logo, you will notice under the Sphinx in between the Greek letters, there are two sets of 3 times 3 squares. Brother Steve Coakley pointed out after attending a Boule National Conference a couple years ago that each square represented each of the 4 black so-called frats and 4 so-called black sororities. The final square belongs to the one that started it all, the Boule. You will also notice the Sphinx is with his right paw covering an urn vase. Inside the urn vase, we see a circle within a circle with the dot in the middle. This had 2 meanings. First, the circle within a circle. The symbol is the Rockefeller Foundation, which is subservient to the Rothschild Rhodes Secret Society, the Illuminati, which Rockefeller is really an offshoot of the Rothschilds anyways. So what the Sphinx is doing is what its definition is: to protect, guard, gatekeeper. It is a protection interest of the white supremacy. And that's heavy, even though that's wicked, but that's actually kind of heavy. You know what I'm saying? Basically the Sphinx represents how these wicked ass Jakes help protect Esau and his wickedness. And that's wicked, man. Okay. And that's why the Lord said, what? The knowledge or the wisdom of wickedness is not wisdom, So here it is, Jake trying to be wise, set up all these symbolisms and shit like that. But that's not really wisdom, man. Okay. It's ridiculous, man. This is actually really disgusting, to be honest. It's pretty disgusting. But yeah, that's in the book of Sirach, what I just quoted. Let me get it. It's in my spirit to get it, so why not? In Sirach 19 and 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. Okay? Right. So that's the point, man. Okay? Ooh, that's heavy, man. All right, let me keep reading. It says, so what the Sphinx is doing, or it says the second meaning is the circle within the circle has a dot in the middle. The circle, including the dot, is a symbol of, I don't even want to say it, but as you can see, that's not our ancient sun god, man. And see, that's a part of the curses, man. That's why oh my gosh, what, man? It's a lucky, man. Let me hold my, I'm trying to rule my spirit, but this is bullshit, man. The fuck you talking about our ancient sun god? That's not our God, man. And that's a part of the curses, man. The Lord said what? Let me get it real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64. And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which thou nor thy fathers have, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay? Verse 65, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. All right, so we don't know those fucking gods, man. It's bullshit, man. And I'm not saying the damn name, man. Fuck them, man. All right, it says the outer circle is the enclosed layer, the closing off of the power of a damn demon, an idol. It says, along with the paw to further conceal the truth of our ancient history. It's not our fucking, you know what, man? Let me hold my peace. It says the beast is very vital to our upliftment. No, okay? Yahweh Bashem Shai is vital to our upliftment. It says there are many symbols out here that have racist definitions. Remember the saying, a picture speaks 1,000 words. This is a code of communication we originated on the walls and temples back in KMT. It says Metu Netter, or as the Greeks call it, hieroglyphics. The Boule's colors are blue and white and is a cipher within itself, or cipher. It says blue has a close relationship with masonry, and masonry blue resembles lower protective lodges. These are also a code of silence lodges. They are in front of the line of the protected layer. The color white really needs no elaboration, but for those white worshipers, it represents the race they respect the most. All right. There you got wicked ass niggas dressed up in black. All right. That black, man, wearing a lot of black, it has a negative vibration to it, man. The apostles, put me onto that. through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem El Shah. It says the Boule has taken a sworn oath to maintain the state. And because when you wear a lot of black, that's what witches do, you know. People who do practice witchcraft, they wear a lot of black, man. Okay. It says the Boule has taken a sworn oath to maintain the state of white supremacy and to never let you know the whites that rule the world. Hey, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It says, it is just like the house Negro field African theory. The white massa needed a house Negro to keep an eye on the rest of the Africans to alert him if there would be an uprising. And the word Negro stands for clarification. Many have been taught that Negro is Spanish, that it means black, but the Spanish got this word from the Greeks, which called necro. Necro in Greek means dead. Necro in the Greek might mean dead, you know, but either way, the point being, Negro actually does have to do with being black, because you have the word Niger, which also have to do with being black as well. All right. Anyways, so, you know, it might be a little bit disinformation, but it is what it is. You can take the meat from the bones. It says, so what we are dealing with when dealing with Negroes is dead thinking Africans. Well, shit, if you thinking you're an African, yeah, you're damn right you're dead. All right, because what does Scripture say in Proverbs 21:16? He that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And that's why we're in Ezekiel 37, we were known as the valley of dry bones, man. All right. It says the Boule is no different. They are guaranteed table scraps as long as they keep the rest of us in check. They are allowed to get high-paying salaries, luxurious cars, even their own businesses, although dictated by whites. Look at Ebony, Jet, Essence, Black Enterprise, etc., and notice the many white advertisements inside each issue. These are the ones who dictate what goes in and out of each issues of these so-called black magazines, as long as they inform massa of any Marcus Garvey's, Queen Thais, and Malcolm X's, or Queen Nzinga, Slakia, pronounce that correctly, or Nzinga, Slakia. The secret ritual. All right. And here you would masonry. This is all masonry bullshit. And then you have what? Men cross-dressing. And that's going off according to the scriptures. The scripture said man shall not wear what that pertaining to a woman, and a woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man. That's an abomination to the Lord. Okay. We, quote unquote, African diaspora, which we're not African, we're Israelites. Okay. The so-called white man is more closer to being an African than we are, if you can receive it, because the word African goes back to Leo Scipio Africanus, all right, which was a Roman general. All right, it says have been handed cultural and political and religious belief systems used to great advantage by these generational Satanists and lying collectives. And that's like in the scriptures. The scriptures say what? Satan shall go and deceive all the nations, man. And how did Esau go and deceive the nations? By way of that Roman Catholic Church. You know, that was a part of him going and deceiving the nations. You know, it says these elite systems promote dissension and division, hatred, bigotry, and war. According to the ruling powers, people are objects that need to be controlled. Therefore, we have men and women in high places that are soulless and beyond the reach of normal reasoning processes. No, they're not soulless. They're just wicked, you know. They're just wicked as fuck. It says we have an ancient enemy with a large collection of demonic assistants. The evil elite has had a good run. Though there may be certain skin colors, certain nationalities, and creeds, they are apart from you and me. We must stand up like the true kings, and we don't subscribe to the word queen. The word queen goes back to queen, which means whore. All right, we're kings and princesses, you know, for our women, according to our women. It says we must let the truth be known. All right, and as you can see, this shit, I don't even want to fucking say it, but, you know, you see this wicked ass shit. All right. Wicked. You know, so that's the Boule for you, man. Now, I do have a couple precepts that I wanted to touch on. I know this lesson is kind of lengthy already, so I'll just kind of, you know, kind of fly through it, Lord's will. It's Micah chapter 3, verse 1, and he said, here I pray you, O heads of Jacob, ye princes of the house of Israel, it is not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off the skin from their bone, who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bones. What does it mean they pluck off the skin? Meaning that they're trying to take Jake's identity away from them, man. All right. It says, who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces, as for the pot and as for the flesh with the cauldron. Right? So you, Jake, you basically you're benefiting off the downfall of Israel, man. Okay? It says, then shall they cry unto the Lord Yahweh, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. Right? So when the day of judgment comes, you're going to be seeking the Lord, but the Lord is not going to be dealing with you, man. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning the prophets that make my people to err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and he putteth not into their mouths. They even prepare war against him. Therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. All right. And then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. Yeah, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer of the Most High. But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression and to Israel his sin. Right? And that scripture applies to you brothers, man. Pushing this word is a form of spiritual power. Verse 9, hear this, I pray you, O ye heads of the house of Jacob. Right? And the Boule, you are heads of the house of Israel. You are so-called prominent members of Israel, man. You know, so-called prominent black people. All right? It says, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. And that's exactly what we just read about, man. Verse 10, they build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward. And didn't it not say that what? They sell out to Esau so they can get luxurious cars, so on and so forth, and get a piece of the white man's pie? That's what it said in the article. I'll read it again. It says, the heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yeah, you're sellouts, man. It says, yet will they lean upon the Lord Yahweh and say, it is not the Lord Yahweh among us? None evil can come upon us. Yeah, so you jakes think the Lord is dealing with you niggas, man. You know, Reverend Al Sharpton. That's through, man. It says, therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest. Right, and our land has become desolate, and it's going to be destroyed, you know, and the 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed, man. All right, but the Lord is going to rebuild up our nation and our land, you know. Now, I do got quick precepts that I wanted to bring out as well, you know. It's lucky that the lesson was a little lengthy, but it is what it is. It's the spirit. It's Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5, because this is Esau and 2/3 tag teaming, man. Yeah, Esau and 2/3, but, you know, I'm talking about the sellout 2/3. Zechariah 11 and 5. It says, I'll start at verse 4. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter. Right, and Jake is being slaughtered out here, man, spiritually, physically, mentally, you know, and we are to feed them with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Verse 5, it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And that's what Esau does. He slays our people and holds themselves not guilty, man. All right. You know, a lot of these wicked ass people that end up killing Jake or harming Jake, they get acquitted. You know, but guess what? It says what? The Lord will not acquit the wicked. So you devils will not be acquitted. Yahweh Bashem Shah is going to judge you devils. It says, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich. Yeah, you sell out Jakes, man. You prepare that way for Esau, man. Like it said in the symbolism of the Boule, it said what? That they're the gatekeepers, if you will, or they're the protectors of the wicked elites, man. You know, wicked as hell. And their own shepherds pity them not. Right. And Esau comes in that same spirit too. It says, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Esau comes in that same spirit too. It says what? And their own shepherds pity them not, man. Their own shepherds, meaning they're prominent so-called leaders amongst the nation of Israel. All right, we are the true leaders of the nation of Israel, starting off with the elders and apostles on down from Great Millstone, man. All right. Nevertheless, you know, you have people that Jake looks up to, but really they're leading them astray, man. Okay. You know, like I said, man, these are precepts touching on what? Esau and 2/3 tag teaming, man. You know, a wicked duet. I'm not even trying to rhyme. This is John 19 and 15. And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahweh, oh no, I'm in the wrong scripture. It's John chapter 19 and verse 15. But they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, their own shepherds pity them not. It says the chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. So it's them same Jakes that have their loyalty to Esau, man. All right, and them same chief priests, scribes, and Pharisees, they were set up by the Roman Empire, and they were fearing that everyone pushing Yahushua's doctrine, the Roman Empire would take them out, man, and take them out their prominent positions. So this could be the same members in the Boule coming back in the reincarnation, man. You never know. Now, I did say I was going to touch on the Maccabees, so I got 2 more scriptures, Lord willing, and I'll close out, Lord willing. It's First Maccabees chapter 1, starting at verse 11, and I'm going to skip around. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And that's exactly what these same Jakes are coming in that same spirit. Verse 12, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So they literally went to the king, and willingly sold out, man, asking if they can follow after their wicked ways. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. They built the gymnasiums and stuff like that, man. All right. And what they would do is they would exercise naked. I believe the word gymnasium goes back to being naked, man. Verse 16 or verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised. They literally took the skin off of them and put the foreskin back on their rods, man. All right. They made themselves uncircumcised physically and spiritually, and forsook the holy covenant, right? They turned their back on Yahweh Bashim Shai and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief, right? Just like how these Boule members are now. They're sold to do mischief. They're sold to keep Esau and his wicked elites in rulership, But that's like, hey, that's, heard the alarm clock. It's a high time to wake out of the sleep, It's First Maccabees 1 and 41, going back to the point about the New World Order. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people with the New World Order. Verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws. And so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Salakia. Yet many also of the Israelites, your Boule, consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. All right. So that's the point, man. This is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? The things written aforetime were written for our learning. And also in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says what? That which has been is that which shall be. And that which has been done is that which shall be done. There's no new thing under the sun. All right, but you sellouts, man, you think that you're going to, carry off scot-free. But no, the Lord is going to judge you devils, man. Along with Esau, your pappy. This is Isaiah 28, starting at verse 14. Wherefore hear the words of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people, which is in Jerusalem, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death. Right, and Esau is death, man. Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, you made a covenant with the devil, and with hell are we at agreement. And what it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. Right, so you think when the time of judgment is going to come, you think Esau is going to come to your rescue, man. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Okay, verse 16. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Yahushua is that foundation, man. All right, and if you're not built upon Yahushua, if your house is not built upon that rock, like it tells you in the book of Matthew, guess what? Your house is built upon sand, and when the rain and the floods come, it's going to beat upon your house, and great shall be the fall of that house, man. So your foundation has to be built up upon Yahushua. If not, you're going to be confounded, and you're going to fall, and you're going to be destroyed. Verse 17, judgment also will I lay to the blind, and righteousness to the plummet, and hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. Right, the Lord is going to destroy all that, man. All right, and ultimately this place is going to be destroyed by hailstones, but what? I'm talking about the hailstones of the nuclear missiles, man. All right, because the missiles are likened unto hailstones as well. Verse 18, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Right, so you devils are going to be, you devils that consented unto Esau, guess what? You're going to be trodden underfoot, man. All right, you're going to be destroyed as well. Esau is going to come and try to destroy you too. All right. So yeah, that's the point. Lord's will. You know, and hey, if Esau don't destroy you, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai gonna destroy you, man. At least you repent. But chances are you're probably not. Anyways, point being, that's the point. All praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, never well. Peace and blessings to elect Israel, Shalom, and Abba Ball.